For a long time, the rules for investing felt, well, pretty clear. But what if those rules are being completely rewritten as we speak? Today, we're going to dig into the massive forces, everything from AI to global politics, that are scrambling our financial future, and what that really means for your strategy.
So, let's just start with a prediction that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. In about a decade, a third of the US military could be robots. Now think about that. This isn't just about defense. It's a huge flashing sign of the kind of technological disruption that's going to create a whole new set of winners and losers in pretty much every industry you can imagine.
So, to get our heads around this new frontier, we're going to break it down into 5 key pieces. We'll start with these huge gravitational shifts happening in the global economy. Then we'll look at the AI engine that's fueling it all, the new political playbook shaping it, the US-China rivalry that defines it, and then we'll take a peek at what this could all look like by 2035.
Okay, first up, we have to talk about the biggest change of all, what are being called gravitational shifts. You know, for the last 30 years or so, globalization was the name of the game, pulling the world tighter and tighter. Well, that gravity is getting weaker, and new forces are starting to pull economies and markets in totally new directions.
And this graphic from Stifel's Outlook just nails the concept. Think about the global economy like a solar system, right? For years, all the planets, all the countries had these predictable orbits. But now it's like new suns are popping up, new centers of gravity, and it's changing those orbits, creating a much more unpredictable and, frankly, volatile environment for all of us as investors.
So what's this actually mean for your portfolio? Well, it means that whole idea of a flat, super-connected world, it's kind of over. We're shifting away from open borders and these perfectly smooth supply chains to a world of, friendshoring, more protectionism, and these really powerful regional blocks. And that just changes the entire risk calculation for any international investment. And here is the bottom line for investors. Even if the US economy itself is pretty stable, the ride is absolutely going to get bumpier. See, these big gravitational shifts create constant friction. You get sudden policy changes, geopolitical flare-ups, and all that uncertainty, it almost always leads to more swings in the market. Now, if these gravitational shifts are the earthquake, you have to ask, what's causing the tectonic plates to move so fast? And the answer is technology. The main engine powering this whole new economy is, without a doubt, artificial intelligence. To really get a sense of how huge the AI revolution is, you just got to follow the money. This number, $32.1 billion, that's just one company's recent spend on the data centers needed to run AI. I mean, this is a global infrastructure project on a scale we really haven't seen since the internet itself was built. And of course, those enormous investments, they have to get paid for somehow. And this is exactly where AI stops being this abstract thing and starts hitting our own wallets. After pumping billions into AI features, companies like Microsoft are now raising prices on their main products. It's the beginning of a long process of monetizing this massive tech shift.
But, this goes so much deeper than just a few new features. The long-term goal, and this quote really shows it, is to completely reshape the workforce. The ambition here is to make knowing how to use AI a basic skill, like typing. That creates a gigantic new market for AI tools in education, and it fundamentally changes the value of human labor itself.
Okay, so a third major force driving all these shifts is politics. As technology just accelerates everything, Washington is trying to respond with a new playbook. And its America First focus is going to have some huge ripple effects across the entire economy. Washington is getting ready to roll out a really ambitious agenda that could basically rewrite the rules for investors. We're talking about major changes to taxes, to trade, to regulation, all things that will directly hit company profits and supply chains all over the world. What's so fascinating is the weird mix of policies that are on the table. Is this blend of traditional pro-business stuff like deregulation, but it's combined with a populist push for things like trade tariffs and being a lot more skeptical of big corporate mergers. It really signals a major shift in what the political priorities are. This slide really captures the central tug-of-war for investors. On one side, you've got proposed tax cuts, right? Which are designed to juice the domestic economy. But on the other side, you have these proposed tariffs that could jack up costs and mess with the very supply chains those same businesses need. Figuring out how to navigate that tension is going to be key.
The big takeaway here is that deregulation isn't going to be for everybody. We're probably going to see a tale of two industries, a much lighter touch for sectors like energy and finance, but maybe a much tougher environment for big tech and healthcare, which could be put under a much stronger microscope.
And that brings us to our fourth section, and you could argue it's the most important gravitational shift of all, the defining geopolitical rivalry between the US and China. This competition is the backdrop for literally everything we've talked about, from trade policy to the race for who's going to dominate AI. You know, this rivalry is so much deeper than just arguments over trade. It's a really complex, head-to-head competition for leadership in technology, in economic power, and in global influence. The outcome of this contest is going to define the investment landscape for an entire generation.
So, to handle all this uncertainty, Stifel has mapped out 4 potential scenarios. As you can see on the table, they range from either the US or China taking a clear lead, all the way to a fragmented world where they both kind of declined. The most optimistic one, productive competition, sees them both thrive. And each of those paths means completely different risks and opportunities for investors.
So, which of those futures are we actually going to get? Well, the answer really depends on these 4 battlegrounds. Who's going to win the innovation race in AI and quantum computing? Who can best manage global trade and build stronger alliances? And maybe most importantly, who can keep their own house in order at home? These are the questions every investor needs to be asking right now.
And finally, let's look way over the horizon. With all these massive shifts happening, what could the world actually look like in the next decade? And where could the real investment value be hiding?
Looking past the immediate noise and the day-to-day headlines is so critical for long-term success. So, based on all these megatrends, Stifel has pointed to several really transformative innovations that could become our reality by 2035.
And check out just 3 of these incredible predictions. First, imagine your next coworker is an AI accountant. Or think about the rise of bionics, where brain chips could actually help people restore lost senses. And then look up to the stars, where the space economy is projected to become a nearly $2 trillion industry. These aren't just cool ideas, these are emerging frontiers for investment. So, the ultimate takeaway is really this. We are living through a period of absolutely profound change. The old investment playbooks are being torn up and rewritten by technology, by politics, and by this intense global competition. The real question isn't if these changes are happening, but how are you positioning your own strategy to thrive in this new frontier?